So we've actually been dating for, it's going to be 2 years in May. So we kind of always
When
knew.
Kiana James approached Tiffany Stratton with a bold proposal, one that involved none other than international sensation Giulia. James, known for her sharp strategies and no-nonsense business-like approach, believed aligning with Giulia could tip the scales in their favor. But Stratton, ever confident in her own star power and image, wasn't buying it. With her trademark sass and self-assurance, Tiffany flat out refused, making it clear she didn't need anyone else stealing her spotlight. The exchange wasn't just about strategy. It was about ego, ambition, and control. In that moment, Stratton reminded everyone that she's determined to rise on her own terms, no matter who tries to sway her. Kiana James's calculated offer. Kiana James has always positioned herself as more than just an athlete. With her sharp business acumen and no-nonsense attitude, she often sees the women's division not just as a place for competition, but as a market ripe for strategic control. When Giulia's name came up, James sensed opportunity. Her proposal to Tiffany Stratton wasn't about friendship or loyalty. Instead, it was a calculated pitch. Join forces with her to neutralize Giulia before the Japanese sensation could establish herself as a true threat in Next. Together, James argued, they could maintain dominance, keep the spotlight on themselves, and prevent a newcomer from stealing the momentum they had both fought to build. Tiffany Stratton's defiant refusal. But if James expected Tiffany to jump on board, she underestimated just how much pride and confidence fuels the center of the universe. Stratton, still riding high on her rise within NXT, didn't just decline. She dismissed James's plan with biting disdain. According to Tiffany, she didn't need to conspire against Giulia because she was more than capable of handling any challenger on her own. Aligning with Kiana's strategy would have meant admitting weakness, something Tiffany refuses to show under any circumstance. Her rejection wasn't only about Giulia. It was a declaration that Stratton's path to the top would never be built on someone else's schemes. She thrives on spotlight, on proving her dominance one match at a time, and the idea of hiding behind manipulation didn't fit her brand. Giulia's shadow over NXT. At the center of this standoff looms Giulia, whose reputation precedes her. Known worldwide for her work in Stardom and beyond, Giulia has become a symbol of excellence, toughness, and charisma. Her arrival in WWE has been a matter of when, not if, and now that she's here, the anticipation is electric. For Kiana James, Giulia represents a disruption, a superstar with the skill and presence to leapfrog her and others in the pecking order. For Tiffany Stratton, however, Giulia is more of a challenge, another stage to prove that the hype around her own career is justified. Tiffany doesn't run from the spotlight, she runs toward it, and Giulia's presence only adds fuel to her fire. Two different philosophies. What makes this moment so compelling is the clash of philosophies between James and Stratton. Kiana James's approach, practical, calculated, and rooted in control. She sees wrestling not just as athletic competition, but as a chessboard, where strategic alliances and eliminations ensure survival and success. To her, Giulia represents a risk to be managed. Tiffany Stratton's approach, proud, confident, and self-driven. Stratton refuses shortcuts because her persona thrives on being the centerpiece. To her, schemes and alliances dilute her brand. She wants the fight, the spotlight, and the victory, even if it means facing someone as formidable as Giulia head-on. This difference in mentality is more than just a disagreement. It's a brewing rivalry that could explode into something much bigger. Fallout and fan reaction. Fans watching this interaction unfold saw layers of storytelling that highlight why the NXT Women's Division is so compelling. On one side, you have Kiana James, frustrated that her carefully laid out vision for dominance was rejected. On the other, Tiffany Stratton, doubling down on her belief that she alone can conquer the mountain. Social media immediately lit up with divided reactions. Some praised Stratton for her confidence, saying it was the mark of a true star to refuse to hide behind schemes. Others, however, sympathized with James, arguing that in a division as stacked as NXT, a little strategy might be the only way to stay on top. And hovering above it all, Giulia's name kept trending, a sign that, whether she was directly involved or not, she's already becoming the epicenter of the women's division drama. What comes next? The unanswered question remains. How will Giulia respond when she learns she's become the subject of such heated debate before even setting foot in the ring against either of them? Will she see Tiffany Stratton's confidence as a challenge worth taking on? Will she view Kiana James's scheming as an insult? Even more intriguing, could Kiana James retaliate against Stratton for rejecting her plan? WWE history shows that when an alliance falls apart before it even begins, it often leads to personal vendettas. James might decide to make Tiffany her next target, proving she doesn't need her cooperation to make a statement. Conclusion: this moment between Tiffany Stratton and Kiana James is more than just a backstage disagreement. It's a microcosm of what makes professional wrestling so captivating. Ambition, pride, and the clashing egos of superstars who all believe they deserve to be on top. Tiffany's refusal wasn't just a rejection of Kiana's plan. It was a declaration of independence, a statement that she doesn't need shortcuts or schemes to succeed. Kiana, on the other hand, walked away with frustration burning in her eyes, knowing her strategy had been dismissed, but not defeated. And in the middle of it all stands Giulia, the wild card whose presence is already shaping the future of the division without even lifting a finger. Stay informed. Stay updated. Hit that subscribe button.